All right, today I'm going to take you guys through a dumbbell-only upper body workout. And when I mean dumbbell-only, I mean fucking dumbbell-only. We're not even using a bench for this. You might have seen a previous video on this. This is exactly the same, but I had to remove it, unfortunately. So this is me re-recording that. So this is kind of designed for beginners and those that are just starting out in the gym, those beginners that are a little bit shy and want to kind of just hide in the corner and do their thing. This one's for you. You don't need to move. You don't need to go anywhere. Just grab your sets of dumbbells, come into a corner of your choice, and you can do your entire workout there. You don't even need to move a bench. So what we're going to do for this upper body day, we're going to structure it from the biggest muscle group to the smallest. So we're going to start with the back, to the chest, to the shoulders, and then to the arms. Now, unfortunately, in terms of the back, there's actually not a lot you can do without an external piece of equipment or machinery to add resistance when you're pulling towards you. So we're going to do a bent over row, but we're going to do two slightly different variations to target both the lats and the mid back, and then we'll go from there. As you can see, I've only got two sets of dumbbells here. All you need is a heavy set and a light set. So we're going to start with the bent over rows. Now, I recommend doing 3 sets of everything with a rest of about 1.5 to 2 minutes between sets. So without further ado, let's get started. So first thing we're going to go through is a lat biased bent over row. Now the lats are the sides of the back here, so they'll help build you that shape that you're after. So when it comes to a bent over row, there's a few form tips I want you to really focus on. So we're going to have our feet in line with our hips, nice neutral position. We're going to tuck our bum in, core nice and tight. And then what we're going to do is we're going to imagine there is actually a rope tied around our waist that's pulling us backwards. So we're going to drive through our hips to get into this position here. We want to be as parallel to the floor as we can be, and we want to maintain that position the whole time. Keeping your core nice and tight and your back nice and straight. You can see here that I'm not hunched, I have a nice straight spine. This is what we're going to focus on maintaining the entire time. A lot of the time when people complete any kind of bent over row variation, whether it's with dumbbells, a barbell or otherwise, one of the main mistakes I see is that the weight gets heavier or you get more fatigued, you start to pull up like this. And we really want to avoid that as that can risk fucking our lower back, and we don't want that. So, we're going to grab our dumbbells and we're going to get ourselves into that position. Just like this. Now we're going to hold that, drive our shoulder blades into our spine, and then we're going to maintain a narrow elbow position. So we're going to take our dumbbells and we're going to row them like this. So you can see as I do this, my elbows are very close to my body compared to flared out. This is what we want. When it comes to training the lats, we want to make sure that our arm path or our elbow path is actually close to our bodies. You can see I'm holding my position, I'm not using any kind of momentum, and I'm really focusing on using my lats to pull the weight up like this. And there you go, that's your first exercise. In terms of rep ranges, I'll suggest aiming for 8 to 10 of every exercise, and again, maintaining that rest of 1.5 to 2 minutes. So once you've completed 3 sets of that, we're going to move on to a mid-back bias bent over row, which is very similar. The main difference is the elbow path. So we're going to grab our dumbbells, get into that same position, and then instead of coming narrow to our body, we're actually going to flare our elbows out. Everything else is going to be the same. We're drawing our shoulder blades into our spine, but we're rowing a little bit more wide, and that's going to help target more of the upper back and the mid back, being mainly the traps and the rhomboids. And there you have it, complete 3 sets of those, and your back portion of this upper body day is done. Next up, we're going to do an exercise for the chest. Now, unfortunately, because we're not using any equipment bar the dumbbells, we're not going to get the most effective chest workout, and I'll show you why. So what we're going to do today is a floor press, which is essentially a bench press, but obviously on the floor. So when we do this, we're going to lie down, keeping our core nice and tight, our butt planted on the ground. We're going to take our dumbbells, and we're going to push all the way up and back down. Now, with any kind of chest exercise we're doing a bench variation, you want to make sure that you're not all the way out like this, because that'll feel fucking shit. We actually want to have our elbows tucked at almost a 45-degree angle and maintain that the whole time. So grab your dumbbells, come down into that angle, and now you're going to press up, making sure the dumbbells stay above your chest, not your head. You're then going to come all the way down and back up. Now the reason this is not the most effective exercise for the chest is because the floor is actually in the way of us getting a better stretch of the chest. So we're not quite getting the most out of the eccentric portion of the movement. But it is still a really good variation for beginners that are not quite sure where to start or those of you that are a little bit too nervous to move a bench around just yet, and that's completely okay. And just like that, you're done. Next up, we're going to go through a shoulder press. Now, I prefer to do these on a bench. It provides a lot more stability and enables you to lift more. You are limited in your ability to lift more weight when you're doing it standing. But again, we're just starting out, so we're not lifting super heavy, are we? So when it comes to a standing shoulder press, we're going to keep a neutral position. We're going to have our bum tucked in. We're going to have our core nice and tight and our back nice and straight. We want to try and maintain this position the whole time. One common mistake I see with a shoulder press when you get fatigued or you're pushing a little bit too hard, as you go into it, you start to arch your back, and that feels like fucking shit. Don't do that. But look what we're gonna do. Grab your dumbbells. Now, much like the floor press that we just went through, make sure that you keep your elbows tucked at that 45-degree angle. So we're gonna bring them up in that angle, keep ourselves nice and tight, push all the way up and all the way back down. And there you have it. Now you can see while I was doing that I was really focusing on keeping my core nice and tight, so that as I came up, I wasn't arching, which we really, seriously, we do not want to do that. So if you have to drop the weight a little bit, that is completely fine. There is nothing wrong with that. We're focusing on form. At the end of the day, if your form's fucked, you're not going to get shit out of the movement anyway. But if your form's fucked, you're going to risk injury a lot more, and we don't want that. It's all the bigger movements that you will do your heavy set of weights with. Now again, when you're doing the shoulder press, you might need to drop the weight a little bit. Perhaps you need a heavy, moderate, and light set of dumbbells, and that's completely okay as well. For the next exercise, we're going to go through a lateral raise. So the shoulder press we just did focuses more on the interior delts, or the front of the shoulder. Lateral raises focus on the side delt. Now these can be a little tricky. So when it comes to these, what you want to focus on is bringing your arms out. But again, with any shoulder movement, we don't want to be all the way out. Our shoulder joints are not accustomed to that. It feels like shit. It's not going to be great. We want to again have that kind of angle here. So you can see here, I'm not coming all the way out. I'm actually coming out like this. This is what we want to maintain the whole time. So with this exercise, again, neutral position, slight knee bend for stability, core tight, bum in. And then I also like to maintain a slight elbow bend as well. This just enables me to lift a little bit more, and it feels a little bit more comfortable for me. So we're going to stay there, back nice and straight, and we're going to come out like this till we're nice and in line, and then we're going to come back down. We want to make sure that we're not struggling as we come up, or using momentum to come up as well. You want to really isolate the side delts, come all the way up, feel that contraction, and then slowly come all the way down. Grab your lighter set of weights. Remember, slight knee bend, lean forward a little bit as well. So kind of in this position here, back nice and straight, elbow bend, and then all the way up, and then back down. Now, if you feel a bit of clicking, that's not too unusual. It definitely takes a while to get the form down. So what I like to think about is driving outwards with my elbow. So I've got the elbow bent here. I'm driving outwards through the elbow to come up into this position here where my shoulder is fully contracted. It's really important you have a tight core for this one, holding it nice and tight. Otherwise you are going to use momentum, you're going to feel unstable, you're not going to be able to get the full contraction, and it's going to suck. All right, so we're nearly there. We're going to do 2 more exercises. One for the tricep, which is the bigger portion of the upper arm, and one for the bicep. And now for the tricep, this will depend a lot on your own strength. I'm going to use the heavy set of dumbbells, but if you need to use the light one, that is okay as well. So we're going to do an overhead tricep extension. So for this, you want to maintain the same form as you would with a standing shoulder press. So neutral position, bum tucked in, back nice and straight, just like this. And now for this movement, we're actually going to have our arms up above our heads, and we're going to keep them there, and we're going to bend at the elbow as far as we can, and then come back up to get that full contraction. So when it comes to holding a dumbbell for this, I like to cup it in my palms like this, bring it over my head, keep your form, bend down at the elbows, and then come all the way up so you get that full contraction. You should feel that in the back of the arm here. For a lot of people that are wanting to lose weight or tone up, one of the main problems that they have is an insecurity of what they call their bingo wings. This is a really good way to help tone that up, building the muscle to give you that toned effect. Now for the final exercise, we're going to do a standard bicep curl. Super simple. Keep your same form as before. We're going to keep our elbows locked into our sides, super glue our upper arms to our sides as well. We're going to start all the way down, and then we're going to drive through our biceps to come all the way up like this. And we're going to really focus on isolating the biceps and not moving any other parts of our body while we do this. Just grab your light dumbbells, hook in. Again, nice posture is important. Now I prefer to do this with a neutral grip and then twist. So I'm going to start neutral like this, and then as I'm coming up, I'm going to twist so that the dumbbells are horizontal. You'll find this actually does activate a little bit more of the forearm when you do it this way as well. And there you have it, a full, no equipment, dumbbell only upper body day. For all the beginners out there, all the shy peeps out there that aren't quite ready to venture out into the weight section just yet, this one is for you. So give it a try, let me know how you go, and if you'd like more videos like this, don't forget to like and subscribe.